What's up guys, JP back at you once again, bringing you guys another video. It's Friday, which means it is time for another Top 5 Fridays. And today's topic, I believe, is one that Jerry picked, and it is, why aren't you on Blue? And basically, it's self-explanatory. We're talking about titles that are still not on Blu-ray. With the ever-increasing popularity of 4K, we're starting to see cult titles go to 4K, and I'm sure that as 4K gets a little older, we'll start seeing even more titles that are, cult films make their way to 4K, but it's like, wait a minute, there's still a ton of movies still not on Blu-ray. Forget about that, there's a ton of movies still not on DVD, but there are rules to this one that we're doing here, and rule number one is we're not talking about those films that still aren't on DVD, because that is another list. That's why aren't you on DVD yet? And today we're specifically talking about films that have maybe had a DVD release, maybe it went out of print, maybe it's still in print, but for some reason or another, they still have not made their way to Blu-ray. And last year in 2017, we saw a huge amount of films make their Blu-ray debuts that hadn't even had a release on DVD before, a ton that had DVDs that have never been on Blu-ray before. It was just such a good year for collectors getting those films that have never been released. Hopefully with these lists here between me and the other guys, by the way, check out the links in the description down below and subscribe to the other guys' channel that do the Top 5 Fridays with me. Maybe between us we'll actually see a handful of these titles that we're about to mention here today make their debut in 2018. That would be pretty sick. There are a few rules. For one, we're not talking about any films that have not been on DVD. Like I said, that's a different list. Rule number two, we're talking Region A only, Region A/1, because there are tons and tons of weird Blu-ray releases, Region Z, German Steelbook hardbox edition that only 50 copies exist of for certain movies. I'm not doing that crazy kind of research there. I will say though that I did do a little bit of research, very little for this video, and I basically went through my collection, and by the time I got to C's, like, I already had enough movies. I was like, okay, I gotta do stuff besides A through C. But it was very easy. In fact, I can make many more lists like this one, counting down 5 more films that are not on Blu-ray. And these might not be my most excited for ever titles, but these are definitely 5 that I feel like deserve to be on Blu-ray, that I'm just utterly shocked are not on Blu-ray. So I did a combination of films that I personally want on Blu-ray, and then a combination of films that I can't believe still are not on Blu-ray. So with that said, let's jump into this. And first up here at number 5, I actually had totally forgot that these films had not been on Blu-ray yet. It might be a little bit of a cheat here, but I actually have 4 films, and that is the entire Critters collection. Yeah, Critters 1, Critters 2, Critters 3, and Critters 4. Still not on Blu-ray. This is Warner Brothers. Or actually it's New Line Cinema. I don't know how yeah, it would be Warner Brothers now, I believe. So maybe these can get a Warner Archive release, because Warner Archive seems to put out a lot of horror, and maybe they will make it. And a lot of people don't know, but the Warner Archive label with the Blu-rays are actually pressed discs. Their DVDs used to be like burn on demand, but the Warner Archive for Blu-rays are actually pressed. I love the Critters films, and I guarantee that my friend Chris, aka Critterbuster, would be very excited to see these films on Blu-ray. I actually like all 4 of the Critters films. The 4th one's definitely the weakest, but hey, they're all fun, and the 3rd one actually stars Leonardo DiCaprio making his film debut. So that's number 5, the Critters films. Can't believe they're not on Blu-ray. Number 4 is Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Now, Return of the Living Dead is one of my favorite series, 1, 2, and 3. I've never seen the 4th and 5th one. I assume they're really bad because that's what everybody tells me, so let's just pretend that those ones don't exist. But the first 3 films are awesome. Return of the Living Dead 1, one of my favorite films of all time. And weirdly enough, the middle film in the series, Return of the Living Dead Part 2, still not on Blu-ray. Now, this is a Warner Brothers release, so maybe a Warner Archive title as well, much like the Critters films, but it's funny that this film is still not on Blu-ray, and from what I understand, it has something to do with the rights issues of the music that's used in the film. I believe that this version doesn't even have the original music, so maybe they don't want to release it until they have all the music to do both versions or something. I don't know. Or it's just Warner Brothers doesn't really care about their horror titles. Coming in at number 3, we have The Hitcher. And The Hitcher is a film that I cannot believe is still not on Blu-ray. It is a travesty that this film is not on Blu-ray. I recently did a top 10 podcast for the 1986 show, which was our top 10 films of 1986. And The Hitcher placed very high. I absolutely love this movie on rewatch. I've seen it before. I've seen it a handful of times. I actually own it on VHS. This is one of my favorite VHSs. Nice little clamshell here. And the movie is just a thrilling, suspenseful, like masterful road horror film that just clearly influenced so many films. It's such a damn shame that this thing is not on Blu-ray. And I think that the rights to this one might be screwed up. I know that HBO Video put it out back in the day, but hopefully one damn day we can see this on Blu-ray. Coming in at number 2, we have a 22 Shots Hall of Fame inductee, and that is Cemetery Man. Now, I think there might have been some sort of limited Blu-ray edition of Cemetery Man, but I didn't really count that because I didn't know if it was an actual like region 1 like US release. It seemed kind of hard to get, so I didn't really count that. As far as I know, this thing's hard as hell to get on DVD and Blu-ray. But Cemetery Man is absolutely awesome. It is a film by Michele Soavi. I probably butchered that. In fact, I know I did. Cemetery Man is such a cool movie. There is a ton of craziness that happens in the movie. It's very, very much a symbolic film. If you've never seen it, it's just absolutely madness. It's awesome. It's a great movie. There is one of the hottest chicks ever in the history of horror films in it. It is just a awesome, awesome movie. So please, please, for the love of God, get on Blu-ray. And coming in at number 1 completely shocked me when I remembered that this film is not on Blu-ray. And that is the classic Candyman. Candyman! 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 Not on Blu-ray, Candyman. This movie is a favorite of mine, and in fact, every time it comes on, I just get mesmerized by the poetic nature of the film. I love the setting, Cabrini Green. I love just the visuals and the art style and just this beautiful, masterfully crafted movie that just kind of nosedives in the end. That's the worst part about Candyman, is unfortunately the ending just isn't that strong, and you know, I try to forgive it every time I watch it, but I couldn't imagine watching it on Blu-ray, this beautiful scenery, which by the way, Candyman has like just beautiful Chicago scenery, and it's just a beautiful looking movie. So to see it on Blu-ray, like, I'm craving it. I know there is a region B out there, and I'm almost half tempted to grab it because Candyman deserves to be seen in HD, and I cannot believe that Candyman is not on Blu-ray. Anyway, that is it for the top 5 Fridays for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed. I enjoy making these videos. Please leave a like, comment, let me know what are 5 films that you want to see on Blu-ray that still have not made their way to Blu-ray. Anyway guys, see you next time. Peace out.